Hey y'all, so I wanted to make this video to really talk about the discourse online on how I knew my prefrontal lobe was developed or developing, please. Especially with the main one that's like,
I knew my prefrontal lobe was developed or developing when I'm at home on a Friday and a Saturday night with my face mask and my robe and watching TV and being antisocial and taking care of my peas. A month. A year.
baby, babe, that is not self-care. The best version of you has been able to harness a community that is serving of you in this new evolved version of you. And as much as I want to clap your effort of neglecting negativity, neglecting anything that is outside of your peace, I want to tell you that staying at home, especially in your early years and not going out and connecting with people, wherever that new form is, in the living room with friends, playing board games, going to a bar, having a good time, going dancing, lighting up your soul by connecting with people. That is when your prefrontal lobe is actually developing. Being able to manage to attract the space that is like-minded of you, not running away from it, not escaping it, not acting like the universe and the world doesn't exist, and that connection and community is not a priority for you, because it should be. Okay, yeah, tip number 2 in how I knew that my prefrontal lobe was actually developing. So I started connecting temptation with its actual effects. And what I mean by that is that I started to understand that indulging is worse than resisting. And I'm going to say that again. Indulging is worse than resisting. The urge to do the bad thing then began to lose its charm. So instead of keeping to my word and going to the gym, the thought of me later in the day losing my word to myself and feeling like, damn, I let myself down, began to feel like the bad thing instead of me actually going to the gym and putting in the work. And I need you guys to rewire your brain to understand that what is good for you is up to you to decide. But once you do, understand that letting yourself down in that decision and falling into that temptation is the actual worst thing that you can possibly do for yourself. And that is when you begin to have mental fortitude to choose to do the hard or the bad thing. But you can rewire it to believe and to understand that not doing it after you decided to do it is the bad thing. And if you start anticipating, oh, I'm gonna feel so heavy and it's gonna be so hard in the Stairmaster and the gym is gonna be so sweaty and exhausting, and then I gotta come home and I gotta shower and then da-da-da. But then if you rewire your brain to, instead of spiral in that negative thought of how hard the gym is, spiral in the thought of how hard it is to let yourself down, how hard it is to then at the end of the day feel a void of you not fulfilling your word to yourself. Tip number 3, communication has meaning. And you're gonna tell me, I've heard this all before, but I'm not talking about words of expression. I'm talking about bodily expressions. We love to say, oh, my resting bitch face. We pride on that. We pride that we can't hide our emotions physically. We pride that we can't hide our resting bitch face or feeling as though we're above something, or, we don't like that thing that they said, or we don't agree to their choices in life. Knowing that your prefrontal lobe is developing is understanding that you should give the space for everyone to express how they feel without you having a body visceral reaction, and that it's worse than actually verbally saying something. So when your friend is sharing something about maybe a date or their new business venture, or I don't know, maybe them going out on dates and being a little boy crazy and maybe you're not aligned to it, being able to give that person the space to evolve from that phase as you did and as did everyone, or even if you did, giving them the grace to understand that that is their path, is the most evolved and most developed version of yourself. Withholding those thoughts physically as you do verbally is key. Tip number 4. You don't work out for trending body types, whether it's Pilates mommy or gym baddie. I don't know which other one is gonna end up funneling in through social media, but you switch your mentality to think, I work out to feel my best now. And so I feel 20 when I'm 50. I'm gonna say that again. You work out to feel good now, to align yourself now, to work and to live in the best version of yourself physically in your physical vessel, so that when you're 50, you also feel like you're 20, no matter how that looks. Yes, working for a specific physique, if it resonates to you and that's something that you want to work for, go for it. But don't go for it because you're being told that this is the latest trends. Because just as being thick was a trend like 15 years ago, now being extremely skinny is another one. And being able to fluctuate body types like that is not healthy, and it's not something that's going to get you anywhere in the long term. Work out to feel your best. Work out so that you build that muscle, so when you're 50, you then feel like you're 20. Okay, tip number 5. You are not bound by trends and social media dictating what you wear. And I know this is going to go over a lot of people's heads because it just is. They're so infiltrated in fast fashion and social media, and they don't realize that they are truly consuming their identity that is going to go over their heads. And I'm going to say this again. I am my own style. It resonating to an extent where you are not bound by an aesthetic or trend, but you draw infinite inspiration for what's beautiful and is expressive to you. So you go into a store and you may see the weirdest pair of pants, weirdest shirt to a lot of people, but you style it. You see a vision for it. You find an expression for it. You see a vision that resonates with you. And somehow, when you step out and your friends see you, or the people that know you see you, they say, that is so her. Because it comes from the identity of yourself and your inner vision. There's nothing wrong. There is truly nothing wrong. We're liking a pair of earrings that are trending, liking a pair of pants. But when your whole entire wardrobe and your aesthetic is bound by what is accepted by the masses, you lose your self-identity. I am tired of seeing the same girl outside. I know you're not the same girl that I just passed in the other block. So show me. Show me. Trust yourself to have style. Trust yourself to have risks. Trust yourself to even make mistakes, to look back in the past and be like, what was I wearing? I think we're so fearful of making mistakes, how we present ourselves visually, that we have lost the essence of fashion. We have lost the essence of self-identity and expression in our clothes. Like, truly, it's so much fun. I love that my friend group, we're so iconic in the sense that we all dress so differently. And it's not about having a different aesthetic, because we can have similar overlapping aesthetics, but it's the fact that everyone makes it their absolute own. And I just don't see that anymore. So, sign number 5 that your prefrontal lobe is developed is that you are your own style. You walk around in the street and people see what you wear and they're like, that is so her. And she looks so damn fucking good. Sign number 6 that your prefrontal lobe is developing. Such a funny concept, but sign number 6 is that you have an emotional capacity and intelligence. Again, this is going to go over people's heads. You have an emotional capacity and intelligence, and you're constantly evolving it. You don't get on your high horse and say you're emotionally intelligent and say you have an emotional capacity. No, it's a constant muscle that you're constantly developing and feeding and learning through books, conversations with friends, experiences, reflection. You make sure your mind is in charge, not your emotions, not an immediate physical sensation or any surging hormones that you may have, but your mind. You understand that an emotion is a very selfless act to act on without proper time and mental fortitude to assess what it actually means. And what I mean by that is when you have an emotion of anger, of fear, a lot of times it's a mental war that we're having. You're not being chased by a bear. We're not being hunted. You're not being killed. It's usually a world that we make up in our head in this day and age that we have to be fearful of something. Fearful of a relationship, fearful of a friend, fearful of walking in a room and saying your name. So, we need to understand that that emotion cannot be acted on without proper assessing if it's something that needs to be acted on. Because emotions without reflection is a very I-centered and a very selfish perspective to act on. Number 7 is you have evolved from a fear-based mentality to a more love-centered one. And what I mean by this is that you are constantly seeking out things even if they've reached their capacity, because you know that the earth and the universe is abundant and filled with love, and if it can give to them, it can also give to you. But also in the perspective is that you walk down the street and someone may look at you a certain way, and instead of thinking in a fear and a negative tone of, oh, I'm being judged, or oh, something in my face, or oh, what could they possibly want, or a very negative connotation of like, F off, a very New York way of approaching things, you approach it more in a nice smile. They're simply just looking. Your mind doesn't go to a negative connotation of them looking at you, but more of a love-based, abundant one. They're appreciating you. They're simply just looking at you. There's nothing wrong. They might think, oh my God, she looks like someone I know. She's stunning. Wow, I love her jacket. It's a more abundant and love-filled perspective, and you navigate life with that new mentality. Number 8 is one that I'm going to give it to my prefrontal lobe people. It's something that you guys have mentioned, and it's that you no longer associate with low vibrational people and people that gossip and take in seeking validation as their way of navigating life. They know who they are. They stand tall. They do not need validation. They do not need reassurance. They do not walk with their head down and are insecure, but they stand tall and proud, and just as they can reinforce themselves, they can show up and reinforce you in times of need. And that does not mean that you or anyone in your vicinity is exempt or should not be able to express moments of doubt, of negative reflection, but their majority and their essence is of gratitude, is of high vibration, is of speaking in an abundance mentality and addressing their voice into something that is going to create abundance instead of taking away anything of someone's essence, especially done through gossiping. So you're speaking about businesses, you're speaking about how amazing your friend handled the situation, how great she's doing, how proud you are of her. And it's not a gimmick, it is who you are, because you, as number 7 said, you are moving in a love-based mentality. Your mind is shifting to things of beauty, of light, of abundance, and because of that, you're naturally going to draw that back in more of you. The universe is going to feed you what you focus on, and if you focus on gratitude, if you focus on what your friends have, their abundance, the beauty that is filled within them, the best parts of them, it's going to mirror back to you, because then it's going to be reinforced by the people around you and who you are. and who you stand for, and you do not accept any connection that is less than that. Number 9, you are constantly seeking self-awareness. And what I mean by this is that you're constantly wanting to operate at your highest version of yourself. So you're constantly unlearning things that you have learned in the past and relearning, reassessing your values, reassessing what you've scripted to be the truth in your life and how you navigate this world. You're constantly aware of what you're doing and how you choose to do things, and how to improve it, how to better show up for your partner, how to better show up for your sister, how to better show up as a daughter and as a friend. Number 10, and how your prefrontal lobe is developing. Number 10 is you don't take things personally. You don't take things personally because you know that a person's dictation of their truth is only their truth. So if they're giving you advice, it does not have to be your truth. Sometimes things are not meant for you. Sometimes you may ask for advice from a friend about a relationship, and they give you the wrong advice because they're projecting their own relationship or their own past trauma that doesn't even apply to the situation at hand that you have. So it's important to understand that you can't take things personally, and you can't take advice from everyone because it is just a reflection of who they are. And this is not me saying don't take advice from your friends and don't take advice from the people that love you and know you, but I am saying don't take their advice personally. Don't let them sway your emotions, and sometimes the hard truth is a hard pill to swallow, but you know that you're not taking it personally. They have their best conviction towards you, and navigating the world in understanding that the people that are aligned in your life and you have chosen to be part of your tribe and your community, you have trusted yourself to pick them, to carefully dissect them and understand them and love them and select them for your community. And because you've done that, you trust that sometimes they may say things that come off harsh, but you know that you take things from who they come from, and again, you don't take it personally. So you double down if you feel insulted by something that a friend said, and you reassess. Hey, is that what you meant? Because this is how I took it. Okay guys, tip number 11 on how to know your prefrontal lobe is developing. Number 11 is you understand that the limit is all in your head. I'll say that again. You understand that the limit is truly just in your head. That you are capable of everything and anything, because everyone is truly made out of the same essence. It's just what you focus and choose to magnify your life to be, you will become. It's simply that. You know you are capable of anything, and anything your mind is thinking is a desire that you want, and you are not limited by any negative belief or any fear or any emotion that can be swayed one day as it will the next. You know that you are bound by a limitless potential within you to make anything happen, to make absolutely anything happen that you truly innerly desire. You're going to be able to do it. Anyways guys, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for the support on the last one. Thought I'd make a quick little 10-15 minute video on something that I thought was really funny on social media and twist it around to give you guys some actual good advice on how to center your energy this upcoming year.